But is frontier living too risky for the average dweller? Doug Clayton, managing partner at Leopard Capital, is with us on the show. Morning, Doug.
Good morning.
So I don't get it. How emerging markets have suffered a bit of a drubbing. You would think that everything would be kind of lumped together. You know, it's like, ooh, the unknowns, the markets that are kind of new to the world, and that is, it's been anything but the case. You know, I've been talking this morning about how Eastern European currencies have been a haven of stability, while the rupee and the rupee have been going through contortions.
Well, the hot money went into emerging markets rather than frontier markets. So as the money flows out, of course, emerging markets are hit, but frontier markets really don't have too much to give back.
Mm-hmm. So are you seeing frontier markets as more of a magnet now? I mean, is money actually going in search of, you know, an escape hatch from the emerging markets? Because it seems a bit counterintuitive.
Well, in the past, countries like China and India got all the attention because they showed rapid growth, so people didn't have to worry about the frontier markets. Yeah. But now as many emerging markets are slowing down, the frontier markets offer the last real growth pocket, the beginning of a secular growth trend that will really be immune to rising interest rates in the U.S.
Right. Doug, say hi to Oriel over there.
Hello.
Doug, hi. It's great to have you with us tonight. You know, we've talked about this before on the program, right? And that is something that I always want to focus on when you look at some of the growth rates that we're seeing coming through in these countries, and that is the risks. I mean, these markets are tiny, aren't they? You know, in comparison to some of the others, for example, the US market and even the China market to a certain point. They're small, they're very illiquid, there is always the risk of government intervention in some of these places. I mean, the risks are not insignificant when it comes to looking into frontier markets. Where do you think is, I guess, when it comes to these sort of risks, which is the safer area, which is the safer market?
Well, illiquidity is certainly a factor of these tiny markets, so you really need to invest for a medium or long-term view to capture that tremendous secular growth that's coming ahead. But you have to also look at the risks are different. They're not more risky, the risks are different. These countries do not have the big sovereign debts and the debt crises of the more developed countries, so they're not going to go down necessarily for the same factors. So they're very good buy and hold markets. If you wait, the GDPs will probably double over the next decade.
Okay, Doug, let's talk about some stocks here. You were telling us in the break that there's a play in Vietnam, which you quite like at the moment, a taxi play, in fact.
Yes. I think consumption stocks in Vietnam are very interesting right now. Mm-hmm. One company, Venus Sun, operates, they're the largest taxi operator in Ho Chi Minh City. Because the Vietnam market's been on a correction for several years, this stock's down trading about